Hello, let's do Wordle for September 6th. Let's spin our members wheel and see what we are starting with today. We're starting with Mama, suggested by Positively Andy, who's a tier 2 member, so Mama's on there twice. All right. Let's start with Mama. All right, so we've learned some very important things here. We've learned that not only is there not one M, there's not two M's, and there's also not three M's. In addition to that, we've learned there's not one A, but also we've learned there's not two A's. So really a lot of information from that Mama start. That's why it's such a good start. All right, I cannot do steal. I could do steal with a double E, but let's not do that. But the common letters we want, store might be another. I did store yesterday. I think it's good again. Let's try it. All right, that ends in E. Common letters are still N and L. I could easily see there being like an L-I-N-E or L-U-N-E. So maybe not. How about if I just restrict it to I-N-E? Or I-L-E. Chili is a word. Has it been chili yet? I don't know. Chili is usually with an I, but I think... Ooh, actually, no. Chili's with an I. While. I actually kind of like while. Let's try it. All right, there's an L. So it's L here, ending in E. U is our only vowel left, so probably a U there. We could repeat the E as well. What could do this? Bloop. Thinking BL, FL, PL. What, does an E look better? Or maybe the L goes elsewhere. What about like levy? We can learn how many E's there are. All right. We learned that there's one E. There's not only not two E's, there's also not three E's. So we are back to the LU something E club. Is it a B? Lube? I don't think so. Like, could it be a Y somehow? Or could the L be here? I haven't looked at the L here. But I just don't understand how this would work. L-U-E? And then I would need like another U somehow. It just doesn't seem to work, does it? Or three consonants in a row. It's not a Q-U word, is it? No, because we don't have enough vowels. Let's look at L-Y again. It just doesn't look good, does it? Neither does this, though. Huh. Am I down to one word? It's possible. Could it be double L here? It's the only places L can go. Doesn't seem likely. Would have been awesome if it was levy. Should have just been levy. We know there's not another E, so it's not like an X word. All right, let's look at like L-U-N-E. L-U... Let's just go through everything. L-U-Q-E. No. Maybe everything's a little too much. L-U-D-E. L-U-F-E. L-U-G-E. Something like kludge a word? Like you kludge, like to fiddle, to kludge? Probably not. Fluke. Finally. Oh. I was so sure. Wow. Okay. So there is a U. Which there had to be, right? So the L goes here. What goes... Bulge. And I hope that's the last word. Okay. Few indeed. Yikes, there were more words left than I thought. Yeah. Bulge. Ooh, that was tough to think of for some reason. It wasn't where I naturally wanted to put the letters. I really thought there had to be an LU, and there was. I mean, I guess Mama and Levy, and I still won, so I guess There's a benefit there. I don't know if the, let's see what this bot has to say about what was left. The answer was bulge. And I started with mama. It's not even fully tested. So I did store. Snore is an interesting one. I think I like store better than snore, but who knows? All right, there's 59 words left. I went with while. None of these that it's suggesting are like words I would have thought of. I went with while. It says that while has a 96.61% solve rate. Yikes. Might lose on pudge and judge. Ooh, the udge trap. I didn't even think about the udge trap. Okay. I went with levy, which is probably not a good idea. It's going with ledge. Oh, once I got the L, the udge trap wasn't possible, so that's fine. It's just if it was the udge trap, while would have lost on some words. So ledge would have been a really good one to think of. I did levy, which I wonder how much that narrowed it down. It narrowed it down to 2. Bulge or fluke. Yeah, and I did them in the wrong order. It took me a long time to think of them. All right, cool. Let's look at Itzal from Mama. It says siren. And then it does boggle with 1G and LE. I don't know, what is this? Bogle, boggle, and then it does bulge. Interesting. Because it's down to 103 words, so it gets really close. Globe would have also been, it would have been bugle or bulge. Interesting. So knowing where that LE is helpful. All right, let's look at Saleh. It goes helio or hello. Helio's fun. That's a fun word, like heliocentric. Wow, and then from there it's only bulge. That would be really hard to think of. It's interesting that hello is also equally good, although then it can be bilge or bulge. Did anyone go bilge before bulge? All right, then we're going to look at steel. Bool, bulge. Interesting. Cool. Let's look at adieu. A-D-I-E. Come on, do it right. Surge. So if you have E and U, do surge. Now down to bulge or lunge. So it could be a 3 or a 4. Surge is a good one. Audio. It goes burst with just the U. That's a really good one. And then from burst, we're going to go for either bulgy or bugle, but not bulge, because apparently that's worse. But then you get bulge. Very interesting. And then trace. Trace is going with sign, and then bool, and then bulge. So it's in 4. All right, now we'll check the official bot. I'd like to know the solve rate and stuff like that. So, 88 skill, 26 luck. Okay, just not lucky. Mama's a bold choice, yes. So it also would have gone siren. I think that when it's not fully tested, the bot I use kind of uses a similar algorithm as this bot when it doesn't have time to do a full exploration. But store was a 98 skill, so it liked that. While it really didn't like, it would have gone lucid. Okay. Levy it didn't like. Weird. Would have gone ledge, yep. And then fluke, it was a 99 because it was down to 2. All right, so my skill really wasn't all that great. Store is just a natural follow-up. These 2 words weren't good ones, but I couldn't think of anything. It gets lucky. Slate, bingo, bulge. Interesting. Okay, so only 0.3% getting bulge in one today. It's interesting. Not very many people start with mama. So we have a 98.3% solve rate today. And it does say share for solution includes guesses from previous turns. So share for the solution guess includes the guesses from previous turns, so that we do know that this is a 98.3% solve rate. So 1.7% failure, which is lower than the easier words, but not as high. It's not bad. All right, but what are people losing on? Bugle, that would be unfortunate. Anyone losing on bilge? Right at the bottom at 21, so not very many. Why is there no 20? Weird. Bugle, lunge, bully, pulse, toll. What did the board look like that you lose on toll when the answer is bulge? Interesting. I guess you have the U, L, and the E. That makes sense, not getting the B or the G. I was in a similar situation, actually. Okay, cool. Well, that is it for Wordle. If you would like to watch the New York Times games, you just got to click at the end of the video. It'll take you right there. I also have a pinned comment with all the videos I made today. If you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.